What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, May 22nd edition, brought to you by TrendyButler.com and DDPYoga.com/Wrestling Inc. I am joined here by Vince Russo, the leader of the Brolet Club. How you doing, Vince?
All right, Sean. How are you?
I am fantastic. We have Extreme Rules to talk about tonight, but before we get into that, there was a bit of kind of big news this weekend. A former WWE Intercontinental champion asked for his release and was granted his release. Cody Rhodes gone from the WWE. Vince, he stated in his he made a bit of a statement today on Twitter, said it was due to his frustration with creative. He said that for the past 6 months or so, he had been begging the WWE to not make him be Stardust anymore. He wanted to be Cody Rhodes. And we had heard reports that maybe it was him pushing for Stardust to hang around. This kind of, this really changes my outlook on the way that he's been booked and been used of late. What did you think when you heard of him asking for his release this weekend?
I got to tell you, Sean, bro, you gotta realize, like, I worked in 3 locker rooms, for a very, very, very long time. And Sean, here's the bottom line. Like, as a writer, I could tell you this: you're not going to make everybody happy, because everybody thinks they should be a top guy, and rightfully so, bro. Don't get in the wrestling business unless you think you're a top guy. So, everybody thinks they should be a top guy. And the fact of the matter is, some guys are going to be some top guys. Some guys aren't. That's not everybody could be a top guy, bro. You got a whole card that you have to fill out. You got leading men and you got supporting actors. It's that type of a thing. But I got to tell you this, man. I got all the respect in the world for a guy like Cody Rhodes, who was unhappy. He spoke his mind. He didn't get satisfaction. He thought he could have done a lot more than they were allowing him to do. And rather than bitch and complain and collect a paycheck and, spread negativity throughout the locker room, he left. He left the money on the table and basically made the decision. And I'm sure it came over a period of time where he said, you know what? I'm better than this. I can do better than this. If I'm frustrated, then I've got to change that. I've got to make myself happy. And I have all the credit in the world for somebody that leaves that money on the table, that thinks that they're better than what they're given, and now they want to go and pursue that. Bro, it takes balls, because trust me, I did it, Sean. I walked away from the money, and it's not easy to walk away from the money. But I got to tell you, and I'm sure Cody Ross would tell you this today, all the money.
Cody Ross is a baseball player.
Cody, yeah, you're right.
I see where your head's at.
Yeah, MVP for the Giants 2012 World Series. But the fact is that that he walked away from it. He walked away from the money because he thinks he can go on to greater things. I got all the respect in the world for somebody like that, bro. Not many people do that.
Also, he said that he would pitch his ideas to creative, and he would see them pretending to be on a laptop that wasn't even turned on. I think the quote he used was, "They say don't take no for an answer, but what happens when you don't get an answer?" There were reports that Goldust had left with him on Tuesday at the SmackDown tapings. He was back on the live events this weekend. I know his wife Eden was at Extreme Rules tonight. He's got a lot of family there. Obviously, his father passed away last year, and a lot of people wondered, is Cody Rhodes coming back, or will it be Stardust? And a lot of people wondered why they didn't kind of, use that maybe as a launching pad. You don't want to take advantage of a situation like that necessarily, but it seems like he was more than willing to switch things up. It was obvious that Stardust was not working, and he was not happy with being relegated to wrestling Apollo Crews on Superstars anymore, I guess. So a lot of respect for him to do that. He also took some shots at the creative team, Vince. He said that one was too busy trying to be Brian Gewirtz, and the other one was too busy trying to hit on developmental divas.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've said this a million times, bro. You can't have a prominent position in creative for a wrestling company and have no balls and hide in the weeds. That's not the way you handle yourselves, bro. Because listen, I had many disagreements with talent, but I understood this is their livelihood. This is how these guys made a living. I was not going to run and hide. And there were a lot of face-to-face encounters. There were a lot of arguments. There were a lot of disagreements, but I respected that this is what these guys do for a living. You can't run and hide. If he's right about that, and you know, these guys are trying to pick up divas and reading comic books or whatever the hell they're doing, they have no business being in the spots that they're in, because you got to have a set of balls. You got to respect the guy. And I got to tell you this, bro, and I'm not saying this because I'm being anti-WWE. If I was a writer at that company and I know that Cody Rhodes has 9 years in, 9 years, bro, he didn't start the job yesterday. In my opinion, he would be worth giving an opportunity. If Cody Rhodes came to me after 9 years and said, Vince, I could do this, I believe I could do this, just give me an opportunity, I think he deserves that. Bro, I had Brian James come to me before he was ever Road Dogg, you know, with that same set of circumstances. The fact that Dusty was his dad, the fact that he put 9 years in that company, he deserved an opportunity, and he didn't get one, and he left, and I can't have any more respect from him than I already do.
And just like you mentioned with Road Dogg, not every guy has to be a main event guy to be a success. Road Dogg was not a main event guy. He was in a lot of main event programs. He sold a hell of a lot of merchandise, made a lot of money, did a lot of entertaining, great things in wrestling. Cody Rhodes has proven on several occasions. I remember when he was brought up in 2007, I looked at him and I was like, man, I don't know about him. You know why he's on the main roster that early. You know why he's in the WWE that early. It's because of who his family was. But he wasn't happy with that. And he worked and he improved and he got better. He was in not Evolution, Legacy. And, you know, that wasn't a very good storyline in my opinion, but he did the dashing Cody Rhodes gimmick. I thought he was fantastic in that. He had that tag team with Goldust when they had a program with the Shield, and that was one of the hottest things on the show at that point. You know, I didn't like the idea of Stardust, but he jumped headfirst into it. Yeah. I'll give him credit.
Sean, you know what it is? It was the same thing with Road Dogg. When Brian James was hounding me every single week, Vince, I could do more than this. I could do more than this. I could do more than this. Here's one thing that I knew, Sean, and maybe these writers that are chasing NXT talent, maybe they don't understand the history of the business, and maybe that's part of the problem. One thing I knew when it came to Road Dogg and Brian James was I knew the bloodlines, bro. I knew this is what his family did for a living. I knew it was in the blood. I knew he got it. All he needed was for somebody to give him an opportunity. Bro, the fact that I worked with Dustin for many, many, many years, and I truly saw how Dustin got it. I worked with Dusty, so I knew where Dustin got it from. It was clearly in the bloodlines of Cody Rhodes. And as a writer, you have to know that going in. And sometimes, man, you just got to give somebody the opportunity and let them either hit it out of the park or fall flat on their face. But with the last name of Rhodes and with 9 years of experience, I think he deserved that opportunity.
I think as much as he jumped into every single thing that he was given, I don't know what he and Damian Sandow are really two cases of no matter what you do or what you're willing to do, some people just aren't going to get that shot. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. We'll talk about this more tomorrow on the Monday night show after Raw, of course. But we're going to jump into the Michael Bay film of WWE pay-per-views, Extreme Rules. Kind of know what we're walking into when we see this show. Some big matches, some that you just wonder why the hell are these even happening. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube page. All kinds of cool stuff that goes up there. I have an interview with Deonna Purrazzo. You've seen her on NXT, Ring of Honor, TNA. That's coming up very soon. We started with the pre-show. Did you get to see any of the pre-show?
I just saw the highlights of the pre-show once the pay-per-view started.
Miz's monologue was fantastic. I hope somebody posts a video so you can see it. I wish I knew the film, but I can't do it justice. It was really, really good, and he did 2 takes of it. He has been really good since he's been really good since he came back as a heel. But with Maurice at his side, new leash on life, this guy. Really like this act, Vince.
You know, and bro, listen, you know how I am. Miz looks like a star. Miz looks like he belongs. Miz looks like the part.
Well, he is. A lot of people know him from the real world.
Yeah, and especially with the wife. I mean, the wife adds to that, no doubt about it. You know, he belongs. We'll get into the matches later. I'm glad they kept the title on him. But yeah, I agree with you about the Miz.
They were doing predictions for the Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles match, and Corey Graves said something like, "Sorry, internet fans, you're not going to get what you want. Keep in mind, the only way to watch this show, Vince, is on the internet. This WWE Network show."
That's true, bro. Yes, I guess everybody wanted AJ.
Yeah. Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler. This wasn't very good. We talk a lot, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about this on the show. Some moves, if you fire right back, I'm okay with. Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin had this fantastic spot into this great big DDT, and Baron Corbin got up like maybe a second later. I'm like, damn.
Bro, I'm telling you, Sean, the more and more, see, here's the difference, I think, between you and I. Like, I look for that, bro. And I think the more and more you look for it, the more you see it. And, bro, I got to tell you, you may disagree with me, Sean, and we'll wait till we get to the end of the night. But I think with all the kickouts, I think by the time you got to that main event and by the time you got to the last 5 minutes, it was so predictable. Because
I agree.
Yeah, because of all the kickouts we'd seen building up to that, bro. Okay, he's gonna kick out.
Definitely.
They're killing it, bro. They're killing it.
I counted. I think it was like 5 before the main event. Now I could have dealt with 1 in the Intercontinental title match, maybe 2 because there are 4 men in there and it's fast and furious. But 5. I mean, we were getting it really early. We'll get into that as we go along. Corbin beat Ziggler. Let this die, please. I don't know. And also, Apollo Crews was on this show. They brought up Corbin and Crews. They've done a lot of nothing since they came up. Corbin won that battle royal, but really, that thing's cursed now. Gallows and Anderson versus the Usos. I really liked this match. It was fast and furious. It was a tornado tag match, so it fit pretty well. One thing I really liked about this, Vince, Carl Anderson kicked one of the Usos so hard that he sold his own foot, that he hurt his own foot because he kicked him so hard. You don't see stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Sean, listen, let me first preface this once again. Everybody on this card worked their tuchus off. They all worked so hard. And again, bro, this isn't on the wrestlers. It's mostly on the agents. Bro, the last match of the night that, AJ and Roman was like all over the building.
Yeah.
But see, bro, to me, when you're going to have a match like that, you should really try to keep the rest of the night in the ring. So by the time you get to that match and it's all over the arena, it's special. Bro, right off the get-go, the Usos met these guys on the ramp. And they started the night outside the ring. And again, bro, to me, that's not on the talent. That's on the agent saying, you know what? The end of the night is going to be all over the arena. We want to make it special. So let's try to maintain this match in the ring. Bro, these guys worked hard. They gave the heels the victory, and they beat these guys a lot on TV. And, bro, I got to tell you something, Sean. That's a little ass backwards because a lot of times, bro, you get over who you want to get over on TV because more people see it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
3.5 million people watch Raw. You want to get over who you want to get over. But, they went tit for tat. I was okay with everything here. Guys worked their asses off. I just wish they would have kept more in the ring to make that last match feel more special.
I agree with you, but I'll play devil's advocate here. Do you think, they've been involved in that main event angle. Do you think maybe that was kind of an excuse, maybe an out to do that? Because they have been in this hot angle. And also, did you notice how much this crowd hated the Usos?
Yeah. Well, it's
hated them.
It's Jersey, bro. You know what this crowd was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Gallows pants are hilarious. Like I said, they look like the Diesel 1996 high water edition. He should really go after some trendybutler.com, Vince. And we have some Trendy Butler news. Tomorrow night on our post-Raw podcast, it's official. Vince is debuting the cashmere beanie that I sent him.
I got the beanie. I got the
beanie. $75 cashmere beanie. Why don't you just tell them a little bit about how soft it is?
I got the beanie. It's softer than a baby's behind. I'm going to debut tomorrow. I figure we tease them a little, Sean. We tease them during the day. See, you got to do the whole build-up, bro. You got to do the whole – I would have killed it tonight. You got to do the right build-up. Tomorrow I will debut the beanie.
Indeed. Guys, go to trendybutler.com. I hate clothes shopping. I do. And the thing I love about trendybutler.com, you go there, you make a custom style profile based on your favorite colors, patterns, what you like to wear, what you don't like to wear, all the things like that. And then Trendy Butler has a stylist custom pick your clothes for you, and they send you over $150 worth of clothes for $65. And you can get $10 off if you use Wrestling10, all caps, at trendybutler.com. When they sent me mine, I got over $200 worth of stuff. And fortunately, our friend Phil Rodriguez, it's a little hot for me to wear the beanie. So our friend Phil Rodriguez donated the $75 that beanie was worth to the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, Elijah Burke's Love Alive charity to get me to send that to Vince Russo. So much respect to him for doing that. And
Sean, you want to hear something funny, bro? I have a 20-year-old daughter, bro, and my beanie was on the table, and she came home and started cutting a promo on me because she thought I took her hat, because she knows I only own crap, bro. She knows like all my clothing is Goodwill. So she saw the cashmere beanie, picked it up. Hey, what are you doing wearing my hat? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, excuse me, that's my cashmere beanie. And I made her apologize, bro. I just want you to know, because she wears that type of clothing. She wears the top of the line.
High-end stuff from Trendy Butler. Only the best guys. Check them out, please. Yeah, moving on. One thing I wanted to say, early in this match, or early in this pay-per-view, I was like, okay, we saw Baron Corbin low blow Dolph Ziggler before a win. We saw Gallows and Anderson have to use a ring bell to win, and I'm like, damn, if you're going with a dirty tactic every match, this is going to be really hard. But it kind of changed. We had Rusev versus Kalisto, and, Rusev had to win this match, and he did. But the thing that I was thinking at the end of this match, Vince, what in the hell is that ref doing keeping Rusev from attacking his opponent?
Well, bro, how kabuki-ish was that? He was keeping Rusev away because he was saying he's hurt, he's hurt, he's hurt. The doctors have to check him. So he's keeping him away. He's telling Rusev to stay away. Rusev gets back on Kalisto, puts him in the, in the finishing move, and Kalisto taps, and the ref awards the victory.
So weird.
Yeah, that was like, bro, like that made absolutely no. Again, bro, that's an agent thing.
How can somebody? I've done maybe 15 matches in my life in a wrestling ring. How does that get by somebody who's done this for a career, Vince?
I have no idea. Bro, you got to understand something. These are there's a production meeting. There's an agent's meeting. The agents go after it all day long. I mean, bro, what I'm trying to say is this went through a long process for the entire day. And
it's got to go through the ref himself, the performers.
Yeah, and I mean, did nobody say, wait a minute, he's telling Rusev to stay off his opponent. Rusev doesn't listen to the authority of the ref, puts him in the gimmick, and then Rusev's awarded the victory. Like, I don't know how somebody doesn't catch that throughout the entire day, bro. And again, over Vince, you're a hater, you're bitter. No, that made absolutely no sense.
Oh, I'm going to lose a lot of fans during one of our conversations tonight. I think you'll agree with me though with that one, but we'll wait until that happens. Rusev, United States champion, Vince. How long does he hold it? Till maybe Memorial Day when John Cena comes back?
I hope I hope it's a restart. I hope it's a reboot. I hope they get back on the track they were before, because he's legitimate. He's believable, but they need to get him back on that track where he's just beating everybody, bro.
He is that level of talent, I think.
He is. I agree.
New Day came out, cut a promo. I thought it was really good. I thought some of their best babyface work, even though I know you didn't like the Time Machine, which Big E buried, by the way. Big E buried their own Time Machine, as he did Monday. They had a match with the Vaudevillains, and we got, I think it was our first kick out of a finish, and it was in the first 30 minutes. It was Vaudevillains whirling dervish, and they had kind of established it a couple times on TV. So I saw what they were doing there with that. But Xavier Woods, I mean, this match didn't need that, did it? I mean, I like the match, but this didn't need that, did it?
Sean, I mean, these guys have been up for a cup of coffee and they just kicked out of their finishing move. Listen, bro, I don't want to be the grizzly vet. That's what Austin likes to call it. I don't like to be the old grizzly vet, but bro, you get over finishing moves by repetition. I'll go all the way back. This is a name before your time, Sean Ross Sapp. A man by the name of Stan the Man Stasiak with his heart punch. All right, bro?
Stan Stasiak.
Yeah, I mean, bro, remember the heart punch? Bro, you got to kill like 300 people with it before somebody no-sells it. But, yeah. I mean, these guys have been up for a cup of coffee. Bro, Sean, seriously, explain this to me. These guys have been up for a cup of coffee. They've already got their finishing move kicked out of, and they've already lost to the champions. Where do you go from there?
You don't. And it's a shame because they are much better on the main roster than they were in NXT, I think.
I don't, where do you go? What is the point? You bring them up within the first month, somebody kills their finish and they lose to the champs. Well, where do you go with them?
I know where you're going to go, where we go. Enzo and Cass, probably. But, you know, something that I love the idea that you floated out of the Dudley Boys mentoring them. I think that would be a cool secondary.
I don't know if the Dudley Boys can mentor anybody after both of them losing to Big Cass tonight, bro.
Big Cass is a star.
Yeah, you know, bro. But I think that was a little much. He's
gonna be a star, though.
Yeah,
I didn't mention that. Yeah. Big Cass came out, beat the hell out of both Dudley Boys.
Yeah,
I think Big Cass is gonna be something. I think they know he's gonna be something. Obviously, they do.
Yeah. Well, you know, Vince loves the big man. Everybody knows that. He still does, bro.
Well, they've got a good one in Big Cass. He's good in the ring. He can hold his own on the mic, and he's going to have Enzo there. If he can't hold it on the mic, they may have gotten onto something, a new Steve Austin what with this How You Doing, where Big Cass lists off all these different things, and the whole crowd goes, how you doing afterwards?
Yeah.
That could be something big, too. And it's like they've got like 3 or 4 catchphrases already, and they're like a month in.
Yeah. Well, next week, somebody will kick out of his finishing move and beat him, and that'll be the end of that, bro.
But then he'll beat the guy, and then the guy will beat him again.
Yeah.
Then they'll tag the next week on SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's how it usually works. I thought the tag team match was good, but I didn't need them kicking out of that finish. I did not need that, and that's something you're going to hear us talk about probably a lot tonight.
Yep.
Now, Vince. I'm sure we're going to have differing opinions on this Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental title match. It was balls to the wall. These guys went at it. I thought The Miz really shined in this match. Lots of high spots, Tower of Doom, Uppercut Express, a Cannonball Express, the Cesaro swing. Cesaro did that beautiful springboard spinning uppercut he does. That looks like it would get like a 10 in the Olympics if they were figure skating. Vince, what did you think of this match?
Sean, listen, I'm going to make it clear, okay? And I don't want people arguing with me. I'm not a fan of matches that are all high spots and nobody sells. I'm not a fan of those kind of matches. To me, that's not a wrestling match. I want psychology in a match. I am not a fan of high spot, kicking out of finishes and nobody selling. So I am not a fan of this type of match. Bro, fast forward to the main event. Freaking AJ Styles and Roman Reigns sold their freaking asses off. They sold their asses off, both of them. None of these four guys were ever hurt at any point in the match. I
don't agree with that.
Bro, I'm not a fan of this kind of match. It's that simple.
There were several occasions when one of them would dip out to the ring, and it seems like nobody was selling because there was nonstop action because there's four guys in the match. As we mentioned, 2 kickouts of finishes. One would have been fine because this was a really high, fast-paced match with a lot of spots in it. So, one Intercontinental title, they've kind of built this up for a little bit. I would have been fine with that. I thought all 4 guys worked really hard. I thought it was an unbelievable match. I really enjoyed it. I really love.
This is where I disagree. Let's stop here for a minute and break this down. Let's stop and break this down. When we talk about the term good workers, a worker is supposed to make you believe the work is real. They're supposed to make you believe the match is real. That's the definition of a good worker. I believed at the end of the match, I believed Roman Reigns and I believed AJ Styles. They were selling, they were working. They got me into the match.
I watched so much MMA. I'm never going to believe this is real.
Okay.
I'm never going to believe this.
I understand this, Sean. I get that, bro, because it's not real. I understand that. But bro, he is why Sami Zayn is not a great worker. When you got 2 guys on the outside that are standing there waiting for you to dive over the top rope. And bro, this is what he did. He dove over the top rope and basically did a somersault on their back and landed on his feet. That's not a great worker, bro. Bro, that's not happening in any fight. In any fight, in any wrestling match, in any MMA cage, that is not happening. So if you want to call this match an exhibition, bro, remember Rocky 3, Thunder Lips had an exhibition with Rocky where it was fake, and then if you want to call this match an exhibition, let's call it an exhibition. Don't tell me Sami Zayn is a great worker when 2 guys are standing there waiting for him to do a somersault over their back. Because right there, you're telling me this is not real. I should not believe this. This is an exhibition. That's not a definition of a great worker, bro.
By that standard, then somebody doing an elbow drop isn't a great worker too, because that's never going to happen in MMA either. Somebody doing a big boot means that they're not a good worker because you're not going to see somebody run and give just a straight up big boot. You'll see front kicks.
You're going to see somebody get kicked in the face in a bar fight. You're going to see somebody get, well, that's what I'm talking about. A fight. It's a fight, bro. It's a fight. You're not going to see somebody in a bar fight back up to one side of the bar, run and do a somersault on 2 guys standing there waiting for
you. Should watch more. You need to watch more World Star Hip Hop, Vince.
Come on, see, Sean, you know I'm right, bro. Here's the problem: just call this an exhibition. Don't call it a match. Call it an exhibition. We're seeing who can get their shit in and whose shit looks the best. It's not believable, bro.
I mean, it's not believable. The thing is, Vince, I mean, there are so many different forms of this as entertainment. I mean, like I said, an elbow drop, I've watched thousands and thousands of fights. I've never seen an elbow drop in MMA. I've never seen a leg drop in MMA. I've never seen like the
I'm not just comparing it to MMA. I'm saying a fight.
I've never seen any of those in fights. I've seen hundreds of street fights as well. Not, I mean,
you never saw a guy throw an elbow in the bridge of somebody's nose?
Of course I've seen that. I mean, a running somebody laying prone and an elbow drop. You see that in fights?
No, I don't see it in fights, bro, but that's a lot a lot more. Savage coming off the top rope with an elbow is a lot more believable than two guys standing there side by side like this and a guy doing a somersault off their back. You can't even compare the two, bro. And meanwhile, Savage beat the guy up for 10 minutes, and then that was the exclamation point, the elbow through the sternum. You can buy that. You can't buy any of this crap, bro. That's why don't tell me they're good workers. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about these dweebs that tweet me all day long. Understand the definition of a great worker before you tell me these guys are great workers. Great workers means that you believe the fight is real. You did not believe any of this was real. None of it. The main event, I believe the main event was real.
And here's where we'll disagree. You say that, you'll never see the flip dive and stuff like that in a real fight or anything like that. You'll never see a side slam or scoop slam either. Those are impractical moves in a real fight, unless, I'm picking up some goofy 110-pound person that doesn't have any concept of balance or how to prevent themselves from anything like that. There are very common moves that are impractical for real fight situations.
But Sean, they're wrestling moves that we've seen since the beginning of time. These are tumbling acts, bro.
Well, whose fault is that nobody was able to either do this or dream it up or whatever that may be the case? Whose fault is that?
Bro, I blame it. I've said it all along. I blame it on the agents. The guys are young. The guys don't know any better. The guys don't know the very fundamentals of professional wrestling. They don't, bro. If you ask, I guarantee you, if you ask Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens who Stan the Man Stasiak is, I guarantee you they wouldn't know, because they don't understand wrestling philosophy. And that's why you have an agent. An agent is supposed to be a veteran that understands the psychology of a wrestling match. I don't blame the young kids, bro. They're going to go out there. They're going to want to do this stuff. Somebody's got to put the reins on them because it's not believable.
So what if Stan Stasiak did a flip dive to the outside?
He wouldn't, bro. He would. He's a wrestler, not a tumbler, bro. He's a wrestler.
I think aerial techniques are breathtaking and very effective. I enjoyed this match. The Miz retained. Also, something I really liked out of this match, your two favorite workers of all time, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they hated each other so much they prevented one another from winning the Intercontinental title. But yeah, moving on. Boy, what did you think of the Asylum match? Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho.
God, bro, what was like? Nobody cared. I mean, nobody cared. Bro, I swear to God, I think it was a combination of a couple of things. But like, bro, nobody cared who won or lost this match. Am I right?
Right, correct. It was really, really slow. And I mean, they had a very fast-paced match before that, but
it went too long. First of all, it went too long.
Way too long.
Way too long. It went way too long. Second of all, bro, I think something that hurt it too was the selection of weapons. You know what I mean, bro? It's like, listen, you can either have weapons or you can have toys. You know, I mean, like, what are we going to do here? But I don't know, bro. Like this, I was sitting there saying to myself, listen, I like both guys. I know Jericho. I like both guys. But because of the booking, because of the storyline, I don't care who wins this match. I mean, either way, Jericho wins, great. Ambrose wins, great. I could have cared less who won the match. I think a lot of people felt that way.
26 minutes.
Too much. Way too long, bro.
It really, and that match could have went without maybe 13 of those minutes. And we'll get right back to the point we've hammered in. Dean Ambrose does a dive off of the cage, an elbow off of the cage. No finish. Now, I would have been cool if he was so wiped out that he couldn't make the pin. You know, sure, do that. I would have been cool with that. He jumped off a damn cage. The finish was kind of cool. How they pulled out the thumbtacks and Chris Jericho tries to go for the code breaker, but Ambrose catches him and drops him into the thumbtacks. I thought that was a cool spot, but why kick out of an elbow off the cage?
Well, bro, not only that, again, let's talk about psychology, Sean, because that's what you're talking about. We're talking about psychology here. Psychology is missing here. It's the agents. It's not the talent. The agents are the bosses of the talent. But Sean, what about this? Sean, let me ask you a question. Would you rather somebody throw you into thumbtacks back first, or would you rather take a barbed wire bat to the stomach and to the back?
Oh gosh.
But you see what I'm talking about? Psychology, bro. Ambrose takes that barbed wire bat to the stomach and to the back, and we're supposed to believe that the thumbtacks were more harmful to Jericho. That's piss poor, bro. That's the agents. That is piss poor psychology, bro. I mean, does anybody know what a barbed wire bat to the gut and to the back would do to somebody? Forget about it, bro. Thumbtacks are what, bro? This come on, man. I don't know how I'm supposed to defend that. I'm like, okay, a bat wrapped in barbed wire doesn't kill Dean Ambrose getting hit with it in the front and the back. But thumbtacks are going to kill Chris Jericho. Okay, all right, I buy that.
Yeah, nobody. There was a lot of negative reception about this match and understood. It's just 26 minutes,
bro. Why didn't they put freaking Ziggler and Corbin on the pay-per-view?
I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. I don't want that match getting any more time.
Yeah, but I think they could have cut into the 26 minutes if they gave those guys 6 or 8.
Yeah, 26. That's shocking to me that they would think that was a good idea. Charlotte and Natalya were next. They got, by the way, Ambrose won, as he probably should have. Charlotte and Natalya got like 9. Submission match. This did not live up to my expectations at all. I know that these two girls had trained at CSW, which is a catch wrestling school, in preparation for this. Dana Brooke came out with Emma getting surgery last week. It looks like she's being paired with Charlotte. I don't know where anything is going in this women's division, though. Sasha apparently is hurt. She has a concussion. Who's next, Vince?
I want everybody to understand, I'm giving my opinion. This is my opinion, and I'm going to put the last match over to the moon because I enjoyed that, and there are reasons why I enjoyed it. But Sean, let's talk for a second here, me and you, okay, like two buddies, okay? Charlotte is legitimate. Charlotte is a great wrestler. Charlotte is legitimate. She's bigger than the other girls. She's more athletic. She's got the Flair bloodlines. There's a lot of reasons why Charlotte should be the champion. Okay? Sean, do you not think Charlotte would have more heat if she remains cocky and she goes out and she beats these freaking girls clean?
I always thought that was the perfect idea for any champion, is that they're so good, they know they're good.
Yes.
And maybe they got Charlotte obviously got a leg up because of her family, but if she can back it up, maybe that'll make people hate her even more.
It will, bro, because it's legitimate. It's believable. You believe she could beat everybody. The more she beats everybody and the more she brags about it, the more heat there's going to be on him. Now, you can't do that with somebody that's not legitimate or believable. Charlotte's believable.
Are you familiar with Anderson Silva, to make another MMA reference?
I know of him, but not as familiar as I should be.
One of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. He would do things like he would back up to the cage. He would put his hands down and wait for people to punch him. Then when they did, he would throw a knee, hit them in the breadbasket, and they're done.
Yeah.
He knew he could do things like that. He acted cocky, and a lot of people hated it. He would dance. He would emulate Muhammad Ali. He would do all these things. And, maybe Charlotte doesn't have to be that animated, but she's got promos for that.
Yeah, that's the
promos
thing.
To get that over.
You don't need the Flair. You don't need the Dana Brooke. You don't need any of that. She'll get legitimate heat by just beating people and bragging about it. It's too much. She doesn't need all that crap.
I'm just wondering where the division goes from here. You can't give Natalya another shot after that. Becky Lynch just got beat twice by Dana Brooke. Sasha Banks apparently is hurt. Paige, maybe? I don't know. She hasn't been on TV lately. So really confusing. This match was a disappointment to me, and I hate that because I like both of these girls. I like the whole Hart family. And considering that they trained at CSW, which I also like very much, I was really hoping for something special out of this match. You know, maybe if they had gotten a couple of those extra 26 minutes, something magical could have happened. But with this weird thing, I mean, Dana Brooke being introduced, that was...
Well, I think they did it, bro, because they want to get her in an angle with Natty. That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, but there are other ways to do that.
Sure.
That's the only thing I could think of. But I just, they're just, bro. It's so simple to do with Charlotte, but they're just not seeing it.
So the main event, AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns, World Heavyweight Championship. I was over the moon about this match, Vince. Yeah. I love this match.
Yeah, I do too, bro. And again, like I said, you want to talk about selling, you want to talk about psychology. Watch the four-way and watch this match. You'll see this is why I am a huge fan of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns looks like he's always hurt.
Now I want to get into this, and there are going to be a lot of people mad at me. I don't know what more people want out of Roman Reigns.
I agree.
I don't understand. I heard the stupid ass arguments for so long. He's only got 5 moves. Well, that's not true. I had people sending that to me as he hit a sit down crucifix power bomb. So that ain't how it is. He's not a good worker. Well, you're talking about the guy who got probably the best singles match out of Big Show of all time last year. Then you'll hear people say, Vince, he's being carried to these matches. Vince, I'll ask you, if Great Khali or Bull Dempsey or Big Vito LaGrasso are in these matches, are they these good? Are they this good?
Bro, I don't care if anybody hates my freaking guts. If I was Vince McMahon right now, Roman Reigns would be my champion, period, end of story. And I think he's finally starting to come in his own. Vince finally got it through his freaking head. Bro, it doesn't matter if they cheer or boo him as long as they react to him. That's all that freaking matters, Vince. If some people love him and some people want him to lose, great. As long as they have a emotion about him one way or another, that's all that matters. This guy sells from beginning to end. He works harder than everybody else. The idiots in Jersey were starting the "you can't wrestle" chant. Like, oh, okay, bro. He's the champion in the top wrestling company in the freaking world, and he can't wrestle. Okay, but you fat 300-pound slob sitting in the 3rd row with your mother living in her baby. You can wrestle. You know how to wrestle that you can start a chant that you can wrestle a Roman Reigns. Give me a break. But again, bro, this is the contrast between an exhibition and a wrestling match. There was psychology. There was selling. Both guys sold. I enjoyed the crap out of this match. I don't know if I would have pulled the Rollins card at the end. I'll tell you why, bro. I know why they did it. And there's half of me, 75% of me agrees with them. 25% doesn't. The 25 that doesn't is they had a tremendous match. And I would have liked to leave it with them. You know what I'm saying, bro? Give them their comeuppance. They had a great match. But on the other side of the coin, you want to bring people to Raw tomorrow night. So
yeah, exactly.
I totally get Rollins coming at the end and hitting. I totally get that. But these guys had a terrific match.
A couple of other things I am always told. He's pushed down our throats. Well, he's a world champion, dummies. Another thing. He doesn't need to be a babyface. How in the hell has he been a babyface since WrestleMania? What babyface things has he done? Just because he doesn't do outwardly heel things doesn't mean that he's a babyface. He's got no charisma or mic skills. We hear that too. How much has he talked since WrestleMania, Vince? Like what, maybe a minute or two at most? What more do you people want out of the? He's putting on good matches. I get it. Some of you wanted AJ Styles to win. I would love for AJ Styles to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion at some point. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, period. One of the best performers I've ever seen. I hope that he gets his opportunity. But then where do you go from there with him? Who is there for AJ? Because AJ's getting cheered. You got no heels right now. Seth Rollins came back, got a giant babyface reaction. Crowd was thrilled to see him. I love this match. Roman Reigns just hossed AJ Styles around. You had the Usos, which the crowd was livid that they even existed. It's like they found two guys that they could get more heat than Roman Reigns, and they are his cousins. So by association, they have more heat. Anderson and Gallows came out, as they probably should have if there are no rules, Vince.
Yeah, no, well, yeah. I mean, they had to come out. I mean, if those guys didn't come out, it would have defeated the whole purpose of what the match was. I mean, yeah, I mean, they came out. I just wish, bro, and again, it's like when they do real silly things, they like to use the excuse it's PG-13. Then they, but so none of it makes any sense.
Thumbtacks. Then you got thumbtacks.
Then you got thumbtacks. But I think the Usos would be a lot better with more of an edge. I think if they lost the face paint, you put them in regular street clothes. They lost the skirts and all that. I think you can get a second life out of them if you gave them more of an edge. And who knows? Maybe we'll see that with Reigns and Rollins. Maybe you'll see that side of them. I mean, I don't know, but I would like to see them play that role. But I don't think it's going to happen.
How funny is it that for weeks we were like, who's going to join who? Nobody's going to join anybody. It's going to be the same people they thought. And I thought, it got way too repetitive, which showed in some of WWE's, their YouTube videos, the Usos, Gallows, Anderson, Reigns, Styles numbers way down this week. But this match was good payoff. AJ Styles lost. It was an unbelievable match. Styles didn't look bad in losing in any way. There are people that complained about the Styles Clash being kicked out of twice. I don't think anybody should be kicking out of a Styles Clash on a chair. As you mentioned, it would have meant a lot more if there weren't 4 or 5 of them earlier in the night.
Yeah, no, and also, like I said, by the time you got to that point in the match, you knew exactly what was going to happen, and that's because of what happened earlier in the night. And again, bro, I'm not going to say I don't mean to pick on the agents. I do mean to pick on the agents because the agents need to collectively get together and look at the body of work throughout the entire night. They need to know what's happening in every match because by the time you got to the end of this, they made it super, super predictable because of what we had seen all night.
AJ Styles took an absolute beating in this match.
Yeah.
And thank God he has ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc to help him, you guys. ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc helped AJ Styles get in shape for Ring of Honor Final Battle and the Tokyo Dome show Wrestle Kingdom 10 when his back was completely locked up. Had to cancel several dates. Got back in shape with ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. You can go there, get a great deal in the Max Pack, and check out the DDP Yoga Now app. If you're traveling, if you work out of town, you still want to get your workout, the DDP Yoga Now app is the perfect way to stay in shape on the road. Excellent stuff. You can see how it helped the likes of Jake the Snake Roberts in the resurrection of Jake the Snake, which is now available on Vudu, Amazon, Google Play, PlayStation Network, iTunes, video on demand everywhere, and for a limited time on Blu-ray as well. We have the link to all that in the post. So tweet DDP and DDP Yoga. Let them know that we sent you, ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. Now,
Sean, can I say this too, bro?
Yeah.
I understand AJ came into the WWE at a very late point in his career. Okay,
yes.
Bro? I understand AJ's mentality about this is my first time at the WWE, the big stage, the main event. I got to go freaking balls to the wall. Like, and for AJ Styles to go to a level that like he's never been at before, like is like ridiculous. I mean, forget about it. But I hope now, I really do, bro. He has proven himself. There is no doubt that he could be a main eventer on the biggest stage in the world. He has proven that. There is nothing left to prove. At his age now, bro, I just wish he would turn it down a notch or two. He's not a young guy anymore, bro. And I want AJ to be able to go well into his 40s. But I just hope now he just kind of, he's got to dial it back, bro, because he's not a young kid anymore. And if he continues to go at this pace, bro, he might be done at 40 compared to 45. You know what I'm saying? So I hope AJ now knows, bro, you proved to us you could be a main eventer on any stage. You're the greatest wrestler in the world. Let's think a little bit about longevity now, you know, as you get later on in your career.
Well, fortunately, he has that ddpyoga.com/wrestling Inc. to help him out. After all this went down, Seth Rollins is back. Seth Rollins, after, let's see, 7 months, I believe it was. Yeah, 7 months, made his return from an ACL tear. Keep in mind, after this man tore his ACL, he powerbombed a 300-pound human being. So, I mean, his toughness probably shouldn't have been questioned at all. This is, you know, WWE needs their big names, and their big names are finally coming back. Looks like he's going to be immediately inserted into a main event program. What are you expecting out of this, and what does this mean for the returning John Cena next week?
Do you know, Sean, is he ready to go, or will they get away with a couple of weeks on the mic? I mean, is it that type of a thing?
I'm sure that they'll get away with a couple of weeks on the mic. If I were them, I'm building up to his first match back on Raw. I'm saying, you know, I'd give him a little pissant program with somebody saying, you haven't been here in 6 months. You don't deserve a shot. You got to beat me. Then, you know, he has a match on Raw in a couple of weeks. Surely they would try to hype up Seth Rollins' first match in 6-7 months.
Yeah,
we always assume, though.
But I mean, do you know? I mean, has he been cleared to go? Do you know? Or you
From what I understand, he's been filming a movie for like the last month. He was saying that he was ready to go a while back. So,
yeah. Well, I guess then you go to Reigns and Rollins at SummerSlam, I guess, right?
Yeah, but what do you do until then? We have Money in the Bank coming up next month, and then a pay-per-view before SummerSlam. So do you just keep that going for 3 months and have the blow off at SummerSlam?
Unless they put him in the Money in the Bank and make him earn it. You know what I'm saying, bro? Maybe they get him into a little thing with Triple H. You know what I'm saying, bro? Which will get him over as a baby face. And then maybe they put him into that match to earn it. And then, you know, he wins that. And then you build up to SummerSlam. Maybe that's the route to go, you know?
So we have Money in the Bank coming up next month. Any idea? They always pick somebody out of the blue. Any idea who might win this? Because it didn't work for Sheamus last year. I mean, he won it and won the title, and in that sense, it worked for him. It was a bad call. It was a bad call the night of. It was a bad call later on. Anybody you see them going with?
Bro, if it were me, but if I were booking, bro, so like when I say if I were booking, what I mean is not only would I do this, but I would have the confidence in what I do after that because I have confidence in my writing. Bro, if I was booking, you know who I'd have win Money in the Bank right now?
Who?
You think I'm nuts? I'll tell you right now who I'd have.
Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze.
No, I'd have Sami Zayn driving his cab out of town if I was booking right now, bro. With Tyler Breeze in the back.
Why can't he drive an Uber? Why does it have to be a cab? Why can't it be an Uber?
Bro, if I'm writing, because I always like you write the best TV possible and you freaking figure it out, bro. That's how you get people to watch. I'd have Big Kaz winning Money in the Bank.
That's interesting.
That's what I would do. Right now,
I'm not going to argue that. Well, I'm not going to argue that because it's interesting.
Yeah, but they would have no idea how to book it. No idea whatsoever how to.
Now, do you think that could backfire on them because it's everybody kind of knows what's up. with the Enzo Cass thing. Everybody, like, it's like they know Big Cass is the guy that they see, right? That the WWE sees something in. And when the WWE sees something in a guy of that size and, you know, they protect them, fans kind of, you know, they start to reject him. Do you think that would happen with him in a situation like that?
Yeah, that's why I said if I were booking, I would do it. I would not do it with who they have booking, the guy that's trying to pick up the NXT chicks. I wouldn't do it with him. If I was booking, I'd have all the confidence in the world to do that. With what they have and what they've shown us, absolutely not. They would kill him.
Well, if they're trying to pick up NXT chicks, they might want to stay away from Big Cass because he dates one of them. So we'll get into some questions before.
Which one does he go out with? The Carmella?
Carmella, yeah.
Oh, does he really? I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, you should check out Breaking Ground. That show, if you haven't watched it on the network, that show did a better job of building up talents.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Than any promos they could do.
Bro, were they together before the business or they got together during the business?
During the business.
During the business. Good.
Yeah.
Good for them. They seem like two really good people.
Here we go. Is there any finishing move that Reigns won't kick out of? You know what? Probably not. And that's okay because he's a main event guy. Main event guys should be able to do that. Michael Jordan can hit the shot with 3 seconds left, down one. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Would a Trump presidency convince Vince McMahon to stop being TV PG? What do you think, Vince?
Bro, I'm not buying the TV PG thing anymore, bro. We got barbed wire bats, and I know it was a pay-per-view, but still, bro, you got barbed wire bats, you got guys ejaculating on keyboards. That's not PG. That's not PG, bro. I'm sorry. I mean, come on, man. Stop.
Somewhere, all those people that troll me about Roman Reigns that are like, and keyboards, that's completely normal. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, sorry, guys. I've been a little mean tonight. What's likely to happen with the club next? They split and AJ gets jumped tomorrow. Or the Wyatts return to fight the club. Well, Bray is healthy now, but he should be at least. Does that interest you at all? That's
very interesting to me, bro. Bray and AJ is very interesting to me. If I were booking it.
I really like that idea as well.
I do too. Good idea, whoever that was.
Somebody says, can Ziggler even be considered a mid-carder right now? I don't think so. He's just...
Bro, did you hear my interview with Kevin Nash?
Oh, no, I'm going to go listen to it this week. I'm really excited.
Kevin Nash wants to be Ziggler's, he wants to play the role to Ziggler that he played to Shawn Michaels. You know what I think would be really cool, bro? But the WWE they're not capable of this, bro. Bro, you know how Kevin is known for being the locker room lawyer and the politician. Yeah. You know that's Kevin's MO. Bro, if you brought Kevin back to, like, be with Ziggler, but he represented him that way. You know what I'm saying, bro? I don't like the way he's being booked. I don't like who you got him programmed with. If you played that out, it would be so freaking interesting, but they're not smart enough to do that. Somebody says, ooh, I'm going to like this one, I can tell you. Maybe what fans want from Roman Reigns is to be a freaking human being. At what point does it get ridiculous to be with all these kickouts and non-finishes on Reigns' end? It's the number one reason fans turned and divided for John Cena. To me, okay, I'll just stop right there. Using John Cena as an example, really bad for your point, guys, because he's hosting the ESPYs. He's a huge star. He's in major motion pictures. Hey, how about this, guys? Reigns ain't human. He was in the NFL. He's a huge man, 265 pounds. With a family that has been in wrestling since before probably anybody watching this was born. Bro, are they not watching the way Reigns sells? Are they not? Bro, I don't know if anybody on the roster sells more than Roman Reigns. What do they want the guy to do?
I wish that I could just get these people who want this to be believable. I can almost equate everything to MMA. Go watch Miesha Tate. Because if Miesha Tate were booked like she performs during her title run, or at least through several of her fights, you'd be like, oh my gosh, they're trying to make Miesha Tate look strong. When in reality, the last thing the UFC wants is Miesha Tate as their world champion. She gets the absolute living shit kicked out of her and then somehow comes back and makes a miraculous victory. And that is the last thing the UFC wants with Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm on their UFC roster, because those are the two people they wanted to fight. Roman Reigns is a mammoth of a man. He is you know how hard it is to make it to the NFL, even the level he's at. You got to be a little superhuman to do that, guys. We'll answer a couple more before we go. These
guys maybe left. Sean, let's listen to me. Let's call a spade a spade. If you had, say you had 10 non-wrestling fans, okay? You took those 10 non-wrestling fans and say in one room, okay, bro, it's this simple. You had 10 fans that never watched a wrestling show.
Yeah.
And in one room, bro, you had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, who are some of the other fans? Cesaro. Who is some of the other internet wrestling community heroes? Who else, bro?
Well, everybody has the internet, Vince, but
bro, say you have 5 guys.
Victor from the Ascension, I think.
Say you had 5 guys in a row. Owens, Zayn, Cesaro, AJ, and Roman Reigns. Those 5 guys. Say you took 10 people that never saw a wrestling show in their life. You told these 10 people, I want you out of this lineup of these 5 guys, who is the star? Who is a star out of these 5 guys? Bro, I hate to break the news to everybody. Roman Reigns would get all 10 votes.
I think AJ Styles' hair is going to get him a couple votes.
It's not going to get him any votes, bro.
What if he would have let Dixie do his hair?
Well, that might have got him 1 vote. Her vote. But, bro, Roman Reigns looks like a star, and these people can fight it all they freaking want. He looks like a star. He's money, and he's box office. He works hard as anybody else. He sells more than anybody else. End of story, bro.
And I like all the guys you mentioned there. I like every single one of them. You don't have to hate one certain type of wrestler just because you like another certain type. And that's the thing I never got. I think Roman Reigns has been, since WrestleMania, fantastic. I couldn't ask for more. He hasn't been out there smiling. He hasn't been cutting the suffering succotash promos, anything like that. He's had really good matches with a guy that he should be having really good matches with, because there are people that are supposed to have good matches with these guys and just don't. So, I think Roman Reigns is fine in that position. And when he gets beaten, somebody's going to be made. There's going to be a moment there, because the crowd is, I don't even want to say polarizing. The crowd doesn't really like him that much, but they care about him. And that's the important thing. Couple more questions. Is The Miz the most underrated wrestler in the WWE, Vince?
God, he could be. I mean, he could be. I don't want to say yes. I think there's a lot of guys that are underrated, but he definitely could be.
I think he's a victim of his own success. I really do. People think like, oh, no, he hasn't earned it. He's been in wrestling for over a decade, like 12 years. He came in with the tough enough thing and got his spot because of who he was, but he worked. He worked his ass off. And, another thing, like, what more do you want out of the guy? There was a period in which I thought he really regressed in the ring when he was a babyface. Thought he got real bad in the ring, real bad on the mic. Not anymore. I like him. I'm cool with that. Do the returns of Cena, Orton, and Rollins help or hurt WWE in terms of storyline or pushes? We don't know when Orton's coming back, so I'll say that first off. But how do you think this helps out as it pertains to storylines, Vince?
Oh, it's definitely got to help, bro. I mean, it's got to help. I mean, what do they really have going on right now? It's got to help. I mean, there's no question about it.
Guys, Vince and myself will be back tomorrow night. Vince, before we go, why don't you tell these people about The Brand?
Yeah, guys, I have The Brand. Vince Russo's The Brand is on Podcast One. Free. We have a daily show Monday through Friday with a different theme every day. I got a couple of interesting interviews this week. We have Adrienne Curry, who was America's first Next Top Model. She was on My Fair Brady. She was on the Surreal House where she befriended China. So we really talk about their friendship, their relationship. And I got to tell you, Adrian's got some stiff words for Triple H and Stephanie, the way they handled the passing of China. That was, I applaud her for. And also, bro, I'm very excited. At the end of the week, we have Mr. Bob Backlund coming on the show, which is always entertaining to me. So just go to Podcast One Monday through Friday, and you could check out everything at russosbrand.com.
Also, we had a fan that said, thanks for Michael Farrow reminding me and for collecting all of those questions. Said, Vince, just wanted to thank you for embracing Wrestling Inc. It's an honor to have you here. You've got at least one fan in good old Slobberknocker. Hashtag Bash at the Beach 2000.
There you go, bro.
Guys, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestling Inc. Get yourself a Wrestling Inc. t-shirt. Remember, Vince is debuting the cashmere beanie tomorrow night.
And my Wrestling Inc. t-shirt.
And your oh my God.
Both of them tomorrow.
You're a company man.
Oh, yeah.
TrendyButler.com. Use the code Wrestling10, all caps. DDPyoga.com/Wrestling Inc. We're going to talk about UFC 199 tomorrow night with Raj. Big changes to that card. But until next time, guys, we are out.